This is Fight Fans Radio.
Hey, what's up, everybody? What is up? This is Real DWC. We are live. We're back. Apologies about last week. We had some technical difficulties, but everything is worked out, and we're back. Bigger, better, stronger, faster. All the good stuff. My partner, Jared P, he'll be on here in a minute or two, and we'll get to talking before our first guest comes on, which will be Rodrigo Munduruca out of Winnipeg, Gracie Humada. Man, he's done it all. World champion, great teacher. We'll talk to him about the kind that just happened in Winnipeg, and of course, you know, how the scene is in Winnipeg for BJJ, and other things, of course. And then we have brown belt sensation AJ SOUSA out of Pembroke Pines, Florida. He is a he's a Pablo Popovich student, and of course he's in the BJJ Kumite. So get ready for this. It'll be a good day. Apologies if you hear some sounds. I'm dropping everything right now and very nervous. Hello? Hold on. Here we go. Hello?
Oh, hello.
Wow. Who is this calling into the show? State your name.
Man by the name, Jer.
Jer? Mr. Gerald LP, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm excellent. Thanks for calling in.
Oh, no problem. I heard you guys do a beautiful radio show, so I decided it's a little different, it's a little strange because I don't get to hold your hand, but hey.
It is actually quite strange talking not beside each other while holding hands, like you stated already. Secret. It's all good though. So what's up, man?
Oh, you know, just resting up. Still find it a little strange. I'm not in my little usual seat, but yeah, no, just hanging out. How about you?
I'm good, thank you very much. I was just wondering if you happened to catch the last Metamoris. We didn't have time to talk about it before. So did you catch any of those matches?
OMG. Yeah, I watched all of it from the beginning to the end. And? I don't know, something was off, you know. It's not like the other tournaments. Like I've been saying this like a lot. There wasn't a lot of finishes. I think there was only one finish the whole fight.
There was only one finish.
Yeah. Yeah. What were your thoughts on it?
To be honest, I didn't think it lived up to the hype. I mean, we're gonna skip the Schwab talk because I bet you listeners right now will instantly break their phone, computer, anything close to them. Maybe they'll even punch somebody near them, just sheer anger. I know a lot of people were upset about that one. Overall, I gave it I gave it a low score. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, let's run away from that topic, shall we?
Well, we shall, but nothing more disappointing after that is the next UFC comes up. That was kind of disappointing also. What do you think?
Of the Schaub incident?
Well, I don't even want to talk about the Schaub incident.
Or just like the whole tournament.
In his words, he shut down Cyborg's game.
Yeah, no, you can't. No, I hate him. I've lost respect for him as a fighter.
Yeah, I hear you. So some good talk though. They announced what might be one of the biggest grappling matches that we've heard in a while. Of course, the rematch of Eddie Bravo and Royler Gracie. What are your thoughts on this? Even though we're probably far out from the event, but what do you think of this?
I'm actually pretty excited for it. I don't know if it's gonna be that big of a deal as it was before, because it's a little old. It's there's a lot more bigger names out there.
It's only been 10 years since they last fought.
Exactly, and it's two legends really going at it, so I think it's fun in that light, in that context. But I'm pretty excited.
Who do you got this far out? Who do you think will win?
Oh man, I haven't heard anything of Royler Gracie doing anything. I've seen Eddie Bravo go against Marcelo not too long ago, so but I don't know. What do you think?
That's just crazy. Like you said, I haven't seen Royler compete in forever. I never see footage of him training, but because Eddie Bravo stays so relevant in the jiu-jitsu world with all his videos, and it shows him still killing some young guns and MMA fighters that come into his school. I'm intrigued though, right? Was it a fluke? I don't think it was a fluke the first time, but will Royler be more ready than ever? I think so. So this far out though, I'm gonna actually pick Eddie Bravo. I think there will be no rubber match, and I'm going with Eddie Bravo this far out.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say Eddie Bravo too.
Plus, I think we could get Eddie Bravo on the show before we could get Royler, so I'm gonna pick Eddie Bravo. No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
Do you hear my? Do you through a phone when I'm on this other side? Do you hear me right away like we would on a normal conversation, or is it a bit delayed?
I'm glad you asked that question. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, I hear you. I don't think there's a delay.
That's awesome. Yeah, so since we're on the topic of Metamoris, Halleck Gracie came out. Did you see the video by any chance?
Halleck Gracie?
Yeah, he made a video talking about the upcoming Metamoris and some changes.
When was this?
The other day.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, well, just I'll recap a little for you. So at the post-fight conference, he was kind of backing up Schaub, and it seemed like he was defending Schaub's performance and thought it was well fought. But yesterday he comes out with the video explaining the changes, and he apologizes about Schwab's performance, and basically he just threw Schwab under the bus. It was quite funny. He was just quoting Schwab like, "Oh, I want to fight," and he's like, "I thought he would go out in the worst case, get subbed. That's honorable. He'll fight," but he didn't. But he never had that attitude after the event. It was kind of weird that he did that. I think he caved in due to all the hatred and criticism.
Yeah, I don't think that was. I don't know. I guess honestly, I don't know if you've seen Ultimate Absolute, right?
Yeah, that event is insane with a lot of subs.
And they have the same amount of popularity within their fighters competing in that tournament. And, they give better. I don't know how much they pay the Metamoris fighters, but I mean, I think if you dished out a lot more bonuses, I think people would try to go for subs. But I mean, this is
Well, I think the fact that the Ultimate Absolutes is always no gi, so there's going to be a higher percentage right off the get-go.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe bigger bonuses. And, I guess some of the nights could...
I'm not too sure, but yeah, it was kind of an odd situation. I'm sure that's not what they expected from the outcome. I was also a little confused with Baraglio Stima's approach to the match. I understand if you want to see if your spider guard with the lapel worked, but he was just basically he did that for 20 minutes. He didn't engage that much.
Yeah, like I noticed a lot of more positioning within the whole event. There wasn't really like any submissions until like the last 2 minutes. So
yeah, and even that, I kind of felt bad for Aoki, man. Like he's kicking people in the head while he's getting choked. Like that's not too fair. Yeah. It would have been nice to start him over.
Yeah, they said there was a lot of issues against having the stage up high as opposed to keeping it on the ground, So.
Yeah, it's just like Aoki popped out of a couple subs already. Who's to say he wouldn't escape better if he wasn't kicking people in the head in the crowd or falling off? Well,
it's hard to push. It's hard to push off the ground when you don't have your feet on the ground, So.
Yeah,
I noticed
exactly.
that.
Like, it's a little, it's ridiculously hard. And one more little problem with the thing is supposedly they're making a title Kron signed exclusively. He's not competing in any IBJJF events no more. He's gonna just fight for Metamoris. They're gonna make a belt for him to fight for a title. Hopefully they have someone closer to his weight class. I mean, Aoki's a pretty small guy compared to Kron.
Yeah, I say we bust out Marcelo Garcia in there from the Metamoris.
Listen, man, everybody wants that fight, and can you really can you bring a guy in like him first of all, and what happens if they beat Kron? He's the poster boy. He's the only one exclusively signed to them, and I mean, what happens if Marcelo wins a title? He's not going to go defend it, right? Unless they pay him some beaucoup dollars, probably.
Well, he is a Gracie, right? And I think I don't know what the what the thing is behind the whole event, but whose favor are we going for? Really, are we going for the sport? Or are we going for family? But I don't know.
Yeah, from what they make it sound, it's pretty. Besides being family, it makes it sound like it's all business and they're doing good, and I mean, better Kron than Huron maybe as the poster boy though. At least legit Kron's a warrior. He's probably he is the most aggressive Gracie I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
He gets the finishes. He's finished both of his Metamoris fights. Hold on, we got someone calling in, my friend. Here we go. Hello? Oh, here we go. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome to BJJ Addict Radio. You are live on the air. I'm David, the one been corresponding via emails, and we also have our other co-host, Jerowell, on.
What's going on?
Hi, guys.
Hey. I was just wondering your thoughts since you since you're in the city, of course, Winnipeg, UFC. What were your thoughts on 161, and were you there?
I couldn't actually go to the event. I had a previous commitment, but the whole city was buzzing up with excitement. Even though we lost a lot of good potential matches, the city still supported it, and it was good for Winnipeg. And I'm pretty sure UFC is gonna keep hosting an event here every year because they sold out in 20 minutes. So.
That's pretty unreal. And as far as Winnipeg goes, I personally don't know much about the city, and because I live in Ottawa, of course, we always have the Ottawa and the Montreal and the Toronto. We find out a lot about the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu scene, and there's a lot going on. How is Winnipeg as far as the community goes, and is there a lot of Jiu-Jitsu tournaments and stuff like that going on?
I've been hosting my own tournament here twice a year since 2004. I first immigrated to Winnipeg in 1999, and it was pretty much nothing here for grappling. There was a school, which the owner at the time was a friend of mine. He should go to Brazil to train, and he offered me a job, so I moved here. Nowadays, it's pretty popular, but to tell you the truth, I think Winnipeg is more towards MMA than Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I do have a lot of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu students here, but I find the city itself is a little bit towards MMA. But the people, there's a lot of grapplers in this town, a lot of good talents from MMA and from Jiu-Jitsu. It's such a small city.
Nice. And just so the people listening live, can you just tell us a little bit about the team you represent, who your teacher was, and what that means to you, and why you keep the tradition going?
I started with Master Caesar Baring and Master Mauricio Baring, which Mauricio was always a black belt in ethics in Gracie. So they were pretty close with the Gracie family. And then after I immigrated to Canada, I was with Mauricio Silva as well. But after Mauricio passed away, I went to the Gracie gym, and I've been there ever since. It's Master Holker Gracie, Master Hoyler Gracie. So, and I represent them here in Canada, and especially in Gracie, Winnipeg.
Nice. And what does it mean being part of such an iconic team?
It's an honor, like just visiting the school in Brazil itself. Like for many of us, I watched how many videos of like old school, like Vale Tudo and MMA, and being able to be in that same place and train with the same people that kind of started and gave us the opportunity to do what we do nowadays. So it's a great honor, and like I said, it's for me, it's the best. It's my dream to be able to teach Jiu-Jitsu and to be associated with the Gracie family.
That's amazing. And you're speaking about being part of this team, and of course, Hoyler Gracie, a huge announcement just happened with him getting a rematch with, of course, Eddie Bravo at Metamoris 3. How do you see that going down?
I think it's going to be good for the sport, because just that fight alone is going to sell the pay-per-view. Can't take nothing away from Eddie Bravo. Hoyler made a mistake. He capitalized on it. And because there was no interest to host this match until nowadays, I guess just build up even more. So I think it's going to be great. And Master Hoyler, he trains really hard. He doesn't even need to do it anymore. He did everything that he needs to do as far as competing, but he's like me. He just likes competing. He likes the challenge, and he'll be ready. I'm sure Eddie Bravo will be ready as well. So it'll be a great.
Jared, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Do you feel pressure to represent such a prestigious team, and how do you deal with it?
You know what? I think especially when Master Hoyler or any of the representatives of the family actually watching a tournament, I actually feel pumped just to be able to compete in front of them. It means a lot for me having them watch me compete. I competed for how many years, and I didn't have a coach, and I'm so used to it. But one thing that I do really well is I can focus, and I can kind of just focus my mind on hearing one voice. So if I choose that voice to be Master Hoyler's, I can only hear his voice. It's great for me, and like I said, it's a great honor, and I just want to make him happy and make him be proud of me when I'm competing. So
nice.
I think that's what I feel.
Awesome. Do you find, I'm not too sure about who is, but you've got to be one of the most decorated teachers and competitors in Canada. How did it feel to accomplish becoming a world champion? And I see that you're still competing. What keeps you going as far as the drive to compete?
For many years, when I was 21, 22 years old, when I decided to come to Canada, and at the time I was training, my training partners were Fabricio Verdun and Marcio Corletta. They became world champions and the champions they are nowadays, especially Fabricio. And we were always competing. Like one guy pushed the other to compete. Fabricio was blue belt, I was a brown belt, Marcio was a black belt. And, we were always the head of the team as far as competing. So when I decided to come to Canada, to Winnipeg, I wanted a better life. I wanted to get out of Brazil. So for many years, for 4 years, I couldn't go anywhere just due to my citizenship status and stuff, working on that. So I know I missed out on a lot of big tournaments and when I was young. But nowadays I have a gym, I have a family here in Canada, so I sacrificed that. And since the time I actually could compete, or going back and forth to Brazil and having the means to do that, I just start competing nonstop because that's all I like to do. And I don't have nobody that tells me to do it. I just put my name there and I get ready for it. And I think my students realize that, but I don't force anybody to compete. Jiu-jitsu is something that you might just come to have a good time or to lose some weight, or you want to be a competitor. But I always like being a competitor, and that's why I do it.
Living in Winnipeg, a very small city with probably a lack of BJJ, can you still produce a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion in any city, no matter what? And what does it take to do that as a teacher?
Well, it's very rewarding when you see some of your students, achieving, like, winning tournaments and stuff like that. I think it's hard because part of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is, especially when you live in a small city, there's not a lot of tournaments, and anywhere in Canada, if you have to travel, it's very expensive. So a lot of people, I have great grapplers here, but they don't have the means to compete, so it's hard for them to showcase. I had a lot of success with a lot of students which place in international tournaments. But like I said, if we had the support and if they had the means to be able to compete in international scene, I'm sure they'll do really well. And for me, I get more nervous and more excited when some of my students do well in a tournament than myself. When I win, that's my job. That's what I got to do. I come back to the gym, we go right back to training. Don't need nobody saying, oh, this and that, but when a student of mine wins something, then I'm very happy, make a big party. We brought a team last year for the first Masters and Seniors in California. I think we brought 14 guys, and we had 12 medals, and we had a bunch of guys winning. So, yeah, guys are here really tough. I guess it's not only the weather, because it's hard. Winnipeg is very cold, and like 8 months out of the year, it's minus something. It gets to minus 50 here in the winter. So all we do is train. There's nothing else to do.
That's unreal. I was just wondering, you now that you've been in Canada for a while and you have a strong school, have you produced any of your own black belts, or are you on your way to? And what does it mean to have a black belt under you? Because when we all start, I assume we would never imagine having even a black belt, let alone your own black belts.
Mm-hmm. I actually, throughout the 14 years that I've been teaching in Canada, I have produced 12 black belts. So I have quite a lot of black belts, and some of the guys train with me, some of the guys are not training with me, some of the guys open their gyms and they're doing something else. It's very rewarding, and it takes a long time in jiu-jitsu, and being able to build up these black belts is awesome. And some of these guys are teaching. I have 3 or 4 that teach in Edmonton. We have schools there, and so it's very rewarding. These guys are producing a lot of fighters as well, a lot of grapplers. So just spreading the seed of BJJ.
Nice. You say it takes a long time, but what would be an average, especially under you, what would an average black belt take? I know everyone's a little bit different, but what would your take on average length of receiving a black belt?
It's complicated. I think the fastest I had, it's going to be actually receiving his black belt. He's a Brazilian guy. He lives here in Winnipeg, and he was a star athlete throughout the high school here, like football, and he's just natural talent, and he's going to be black belt this year in probably 6 years, which is pretty fast. Usually it takes about 7 to 10 years, because there's different types of black belts. There's black belts that I want different things from them. I want not only to be competitors, but to be able to teach, and to learn everything there is about jiu-jitsu. So, and I tell the students, belt just holds your kimono together, man. You have to have the knowledge, because what I find is it's very hard for BJJ practitioners that get their belts really fast, and they can't really go anywhere. I can send my students anywhere in the world, any gyms, and they're gonna be at the right belt at the right time. They don't need that added pressure. There's some gyms where I don't know how they set up their grading, but with me, every time that I take guys to Brazil, I actually get in trouble because people are saying, okay, this guy's too good to be a blue belt, this guy's too good to be a purple belt. That's how I want to see my students. I want them ready, and that's it.
Throughout your journey to the black belt, what are some stories that you'd like to share where, it was very difficult for you, and what did you do to overcome those, negative thoughts?
It was very hard for me in the beginning because my parents had just recently divorced. We moved to a different state, and my mom was working 2 jobs. I actually told her I don't say that even to my own kids. I don't think it's right, but it was a gamble. I dropped out of school, and I said that's all I want to do. I want to do jiu-jitsu. And I remember my mom saying, "Oh, you're gonna live under the bridge, or you're never gonna have anything." And nowadays, she lives here. Both my brothers live here because after I had immigrated, everybody came. So in the beginning, it was very hard. I remember being in the gym from 7 a.m. and just leaving at 10 at night because I didn't have money to pay the gym. So I offered to clean, teach, help, whatever needed. I was 6, 7 in the morning. I was being a dummy for private classes for years, and it paid off because I learned from great teachers. I had private classes for free for years, even though I hated it. I had white belts throwing me around, and you know how it is. But and I think that was I always saw that light in the end of the tunnel, and I thought, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna put all the effort, all my energy into it. But it was hard, man, because I had no money. Sometimes, I remember just training with a bag of peanuts in my stomach for the whole day because I wouldn't ask my mom for more money than the money that she gave me to take the bus back and forth because I didn't put any money at home. I didn't want to take any from her.
That's unbelievable dedication to a sport. I was wondering, it kind of brought me to the difference between when you're training and at the gym that often, when did you start to find that you enjoyed teaching the sport as well as being a competitor? Not everyone likes to do both, and some only stick to teaching. So what made it you get into becoming a teacher, or was it just out of necessity because of the way you had to be in the gym because of the money issue?
I always liked teaching, always, from the beginning. I always wanted to be the best at it, and I wanted to help out other people. I remember Master Steve Bering when he first had his association in Canada. This was 1997, and I was blue belt. No, 1996. I was a blue belt, and he came to me and he said, "Rodrigo, I actually want you to run my classes, my beginner class." When we had 2 or 3 purple belts at the gym. Why? Because I did every single private class with him. He knew I had the theory, and I had respect from the other members of the gym because not only I competed, I was there every day. Even people that had purple belts, and I could do a better class at the time. Obviously, over the years, you become better at teaching. But I think it runs in my family because my grandmother was a university teacher, even though it was a different thing, she's teaching literature and Portuguese. My mom was a teacher all her life, and she was one of the actually youngest teachers at the University of Rio de Janeiro. She was 19. She was not even finished, graduated, and my grandma had cancer, and she had to take over. And they liked her so much that when my grandma came back after, they hired my mom as well. So I guess it runs in the family, that teaching ability, but I think they've developed for years, and it's very rewarding because teaching jiu-jitsu is not the same as competing jiu-jitsu. I know a lot of competitors, they can't teach a class. They take nothing away from the competing aspect, but I always wanted to be good at both.
For the people listening right now that do teach class, what would be some go-to things that make a class atmosphere better? Like you said, you get better as you go on, of course, but there are a lot of things people are trying to, read a book or look how someone else teaches. What are some advice you'd give somebody teaching?
Yeah, you know what? You learn a lot of, I guess, through your own mistakes, but you have to be very patient. you have to be able to have an atmosphere, like enjoyable atmosphere. You don't want. There's different classes for different people. There's competition classes for those that want to compete, but there's beginner classes, and some people are struggling with everything, not only fitness, but just the understanding of jiu-jitsu. So you have to be able to have a good atmosphere at the gym, and don't force anything, because I know a lot of people that they try to be too tough on their students, and they're trying to be respected, in a way that I got to scare them, so that way they respect me. And I think I'm completely the other way around. All my students have fun, and you know what I mean. Like I'm their friend, but when I'm on the mat, I think the respect that I get from them is right there. I don't need to impose anything or to act tough with them. They respect me because they see what I do and they enjoy being there.
Yeah. Do you think, though, as a teacher, you would know best, okay, you have a fun atmosphere, semi-serious. Now, can you still create some competitors? Because the trend lately with these full-time athletes is they seem to not even have fun or laugh on the mat, or it's like going in and going to war every day. Do you still think there should be that balance of fun and obviously, of course, structure for learning and being serious?
Yeah, I think there's time for everything. Like myself, I do my conditioning in the morning. I train. I have a competition class in the morning, which I train. And then at night, I'm going to teach, So I devote myself to teaching, but I still train my students. And the same thing goes for them. There is competition classes. When we have a big tournament, I advise them with the times and those that want to compete that these classes are hard. Like they're going to come and there's no talking, there is no asking to stop. If there's 8-10 minute rounds, they have to go through all of them. There's no stopping. If you're going to compete and if you accept that prior to having that type of training, then there's no problems. But like I said, yeah, that has to be said before. And that's what I do, not only to myself, but to those that want to compete.
I'd like to know your thoughts on conditioning. Some people say in order to get better jiu-jitsu conditioning, do more jiu-jitsu, whereas some other people might say that conditioning and working out will benefit more than doing more jiu-jitsu. What are your thoughts on that?
There's two types of conditioning. That's the rolling conditioning, and that's the conditioning outside of the mat. You can't do one or the other. You have to do both. And you have to be able to balance that out. I find that the conditioning outside of the mat is just mostly to prevent injuries, to be explosive. And then there is the rolling conditioning, which you have to know how to save your energy, explode when you have to, and things like that. But that you only learn with experience. So I'm a big fan of getting in shape out of the mat, and I feel 10 times better, like eating clean during the week, and the weekend you can do whatever you want. And I have more energy throughout the day, but everybody's different, I have guys that don't even work out, and all they do is train, and they're in crazy shape. But everybody's different. But I find that you have to find a balance between mat conditioning and your outside training, which nowadays, due to level of everybody being so professional doing jiu-jitsu, it's very hard to compete against these young guys. They're spending all day training, eating properly. They're professionals. They're just becoming professionals in the sport of Brazilian jiu-jitsu. So if you don't follow that, it's very. You can see in tournaments usually the winners. Like when you see the brackets, those 4 guys are going to be there because the level that they're doing is just different than anybody else.
Nice, great point. Just one more question, if you don't mind. I was actually wondering about who are some of your favorite competitors to watch, and who would you like to see at an event like a Metamoris where there's subs only, and of course some great super fights. Just your thoughts on this, like who's some people you would like to see in there that perhaps haven't been in there yet, or who has been some of your favorites?
Marcelo Garcia, Damian Maia was my favorite for years. Like a lot of guys know him for MMA, but you haven't seen that guy doing jiu-jitsu. It's unbelievable. It was so frail compared to the guys that he fought, and he's unbelievable. So Roger Gracie, of course. I really like Rodolfo. I find that he's not only super technically super tough. And I actually fight him. If you ask me the best jiu-jitsu fighter nowadays, I find Rodolfo is the best these days. I'd like to see Rodolfo and Roger Gracie. I think that fight would be a battle of like two technicians of different styles, but I think that's a match that I would like to see.
That's awesome. One last thing before we let you go, and that would be just advice to people, maybe something that you've experienced and someone gave you advice, or anything just as far as, the jiu-jitsu, and maybe it could have been a little thing, but anything that, you really changed your thought process or mindset.
The biggest advice that I give my students or anyone is just, and that I learned over the years, is just don't rush it, because jiu-jitsu, it takes a long time. You might be a natural athlete, but there's things and there's situations which only through experience you're gonna be able to learn, and just don't rush it. A lot of guys, when am I gonna be purple belt? When am I gonna be brown belt? I'm like, man, I had the same thought. I should grab my teacher's black belt when I was a white belt and put it on and look myself in the mirror. And I knew that one day that would be me. And then when nowadays I don't even care, you know what I mean? But I know that what that meant at that time. So I find that just have fun, go to the gym, learn as much as you can, and your day will come. Your day comes for everybody. Every white belt are people too, just like the shirt, So everybody went through the same road. All the guys that you see nowadays, they're champions, they were white belts at one point, and they had the same dreams most of us have. And if you can make it happen, you make it happen. Otherwise, you can be a world champion and still have fun doing jiu-jitsu, because in the end, just being on the mat and being with your friends, that's all that matters. Matters just, you look good on the wall.
Nice. That sounds good. Thank you. Man, that was great, actually. Thank you very much for taking time out of your day. I know you have a busy schedule, especially around this time.
I'm going to speech right now, but it's all good.
Nice. Thank you very much. Enjoy your class, and thanks again for coming up, and it was a pleasure speaking with you, sir.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
All right, take care. Mr. Gerald LP, are you still here, my friend?
I am still here.
So we got Mr. Rodrigo, who just finished with us, and then we got AJ SOUSA calling in. I don't know if I announced that at the start of the show. I actually forgot, maybe, but actually no, I did talk about it. So yeah, AJ SOUSA, he's a brown belt sensation, I would call him, and of course, everyone most likely will know him from the BJJ Kumite, and I've said this before, I believe, but out of watching that whole damn tournament, my favorite, hands down, was probably going to be Dara O'Connell and AJ SOUSA, who we got calling in, and we've had, of course, Dara on before. Was he one of your favorites to watch, or what?
Yeah, actually, just because he showed heart. I think there was a point where he was, got injured, and he was still fighting, and he was a beast, and I think he had a pretty good record on it as well. And I just like his style; it's very fluid and aggressive, I'd say.
Yeah, so we got some we got some good things to talk about, and of course, the people listening, they're going to learn a bunch of things about this man, as we mostly do with people, like we just did with Rodrigo. I knew about him and things about him, but, I also learned a lot of new things about him, too. So it was cool. Man, sounds like a very knowledgeable guy, eh? Very, very intelligent person.
Exactly. Well, I mean, it comes with...
Are you there, Jared? Come on, wake up. I'm ready. I'm listening.
I'm right here, baby.
You stopped mid-sentence.
Can you am I break? No, just kidding.
Oh, Man, before our man AJ SOUSA calls in, it went under the whole radar. Kit Dale received his black belt in BJJ.
Yes. Yeah, like this guy's got everything going for him, you know. I don't know if you know Break.com.
No.
He's a comedian. He makes videos that go viral. I think it's got maybe like 1 million views now.
Oh man, the judo instructor?
Yeah, that one.
Frig, that was so funny.
Yeah, people thought it was real.
I know,
And,
it actually made the news.
Yeah, he can promote himself very very well. And
black belt, big things for him.
Yeah.
Budo Jake also got the black belt.
Yeah. There was a lot of black belt promotions.
Who else got their black belts? AJ Agamazarm.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know about that.
Who else?
Our coach got a black belt.
Nabil Keith. Also, Kurt Cummings, one of the first guests we've had on BJJ ADDICT Radio. He got his black belt. Like, it just seems like... Yeah, it seems like right after the World, people start getting the black belts.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's...
Hello.
Usually it's like...
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, welcome to BJJ ADDICT Radio. You are live on the Real DWC, and of course we have our other co-host, Jerowell P.
Hello. What's going on? Hello?
Are you ready to jump right into it?
Yeah, definitely.
Perfect. So let's just start off with, I'd like to just get a little quick background, how you started, where you started, who you started with, and we'll build up from there.
Okay, I started Jiu-Jitsu, I think, 4 years ago, with a gym in Pembroke Pines with a black belt of Pablo Popovich's named Wagner Rocha. He fought in the UFC a few times.
Correct.
And he's a black belt under Pablo, and he has a gym maybe about 45 minutes from him. I trained with him for about I think three years, and then after I got my purple belt, I started training up here in Fort Lauderdale with Pablo himself, and then Pablo promoted me to brown belt. I think about maybe 6-7 months ago.
Nice. And how is it training in Florida? I mean, the weather is beautiful. Is it hard to get motivated and get in the gym when you have, beaches and whatnot, opposed to snow?
No, definitely. Our winters here are 60 degrees. The beaches are nice all year round, and there's the real hard part about it is exactly where I live is midway between Miami and Fort Lauderdale. So we have downtown Fort Lauderdale with all the parties and bars and stuff like that, and then you have Miami with all the clubs. So there's definitely a lot of distractions, and Miami is definitely known for the beautiful women as well, So if there's a place that's going to distract you from training, it would be Florida. Like when I went up there for the Kumite to Maryland, I was like, I understand why you guys train all day because there is nothing to do here.
I was just actually wondering what it is like training with a beast like Pablo Popovich, probably one of the best in the game right now. How is it training with him, and what are training sessions like at your gym?
Training with Pablo is probably one of the least fun things about Jiu-Jitsu, I would say. I think it's he tries to set records on how fast he could pass everyone's guard in the gym. And it's pretty much a handshake straight to side control. So he's a monster, especially in no-gi training. There's not anyone that I've ever even seen fight him off. And especially for a guard guy like me, having him blitz your guard every day it has made my guard retention very, very good and tough. And the training sessions we have here are really cool because we have the structure of the class that we come in, we do warm-ups and workouts and exercises and stuff. And then we also have our pro trainings where you come in and you just roll until you can't anymore. And Pablo's like really, really into the pro trainings and pushing everyone to like do as much as they can, and he'll roll like 8 to 10 rolls in an hour straight, you know, like, and he's just doing what Pablo does. He's playing top, he's passing guard, he's taking the back, he's getting the chokes and stuff. Like he's definitely one of the best training partners. Like like the saying, iron sharpens iron. You know, like you can have a guy come in and teach you, oh, well, when you get your guard pass, do this or this or this, you know. But the only way to really get your guard retention up is to train with a guy like Pablo that just says, screw your guard, I'm going through it, you know. And I just go into training like, I hope I can fight Pablo off for maybe more than a minute today.
Sure.
Oh, man, like, how often do you work on guard retention? Because I probably have, like, the worst guard ever. I just want to know, like...
No, yeah. like I said, like, working on guard retention is just training with Pablo, you know, because if you have an instructor like Pablo, like, the gym kind of falls in suit, you know? Like, everyone is good at passing the guard here. No one is a slouch on top. So just playing Spider the way I do and playing my guard the way I do, it's literally like you have to flip out to keep your guard in or you're going to get screwed, you know? Like today I trained with the UFC fighter Thiago Silva in the gi. He put on the gi and he came in and trained with us, and it was just like, man, it's just same like style as Pablo, you know? You got to keep him in front of you or you will die.
Speaking of that, you're talking about playing the bottom, and we see you at these tournaments, and you're very high level, and you compete really well. Being in the gym with a guy like Pablo, like you said, if he's smashing and passing in a minute, is that A, discouraging, or is it B, encouraging? You know you'll get better over the long run? Because in my mind, sometimes it must be like, man, do I even have it? And you don't know because you're always going with someone with such high level.
No, and there's a lot of things that go into that, you know, and it's a struggle. But honestly, if I had to like put Pablo as a ranking, you know, for best like no gi guard passers in the world, like he'd have to be up there, you know, like. I don't know. I can't name anybody off the top of my head who's passed Marcelo Garcia's guard and scored the 3 points. Like, I literally cannot name anyone off the top of my head. And Pablo did it, you know, in no-gi, which is just insane, you know. So if I'm getting my guard passed a few times in training in no-gi, then, yeah, I'm not too discouraged because I'm up there with guys like Marcelo Garcia and stuff. But, no, what are you going to do? You know, it's every day. It's not like Pablo's going to feel bad for you and let you sweep him. So it's either you man up and keep going, or you can have a pity party for yourself and cry about it, you know. But my attack on it is just like I'm a real confident guy. I try to stay positive, you know. So every day I walk in the gym and I know I'm going to train with Pablo, I tell myself, you know what, AJ, today's the day. Today's the day you're going to sweep, pass, take his back, and choke him out. And it hasn't happened, but I'm sure it'll happen soon.
Stylistically, do you model yourself after someone else, or do you try to make it your own?
Well, I try to take from everyone, but as of right now, I don't know about if you guys saw it or not, but I completely became obsessed with Clark Gracie's omoplata to the choke and stuff. After I saw him losing by 2 points, sink in an omoplata choke on Lapella in the finals of the Pan Ams, and had enough confidence, still losing by 2, that he would put up like the jiu-jitsu thumb and pinky up and smile and then put Lapella to sleep. Like, I saw that and I literally told everyone in the gym, I was like, I am going to be doing that like ASAP. And
do you think
that's what I've been doing.
Do you think you could be as photogenic as him while hitting these moves?
Oh no, definitely. I could be more photogenic than Clark Gracie.
Wow.
I put
statement.
I put the challenge out. I'll blow the camera a kiss next time I omoplata someone in a tournament. And
you said it.
We could have a photogenic battle.
That is shit. I hope you actually blow a kiss next time. Have you been clarking lately also then?
Oh yes, I've been omoplata. At Worlds I finished my first 3 opponents all in less than 2 minutes with an omoplata.
That's ridiculous, right? Let's go back. Let's talk about the Worlds, and let's just bring this into play for 1 second. Omoplata might be one of the first couple moves you've ever learned, and now you're finishing people a couple years later with it. Since you said, "Hey, I want to try it out," is that kind of weird to you, or is it just a move you never realized how effective it is till you've seen Clark hit it?
No, and literally, I almost feel like I don't want to talk about it because I don't know if anyone else did what I did, but man, you watch Clark Gracie do that move on Lapella, and you YouTube Clark Gracie omoplataing people, and it's ridiculous, he has so many things that if you watch it and you slow it down and you pick it apart, that there's so many details that I've never seen before, So then what happened was I always thought the omoplata, before I saw Clark and did my whole research and study on him, I always saw Clark or the omoplata, and I was like, yeah, it's a good attack. You can get there pretty easily, but then the guy rolls or stands up, and it's better for the sweep. It's really hard to finish, especially a good guy, with an omoplata. And then I see this guy hit an omoplata and put a guy to sleep while he's hanging 10, brah. And I was obsessed. I was like, there's no way. Because you got to think about that. That is the finals of the Pan Ams. He's had a breakout year. He's doing really good now. And he has enough confidence in that move itself to be I'm losing by 2 with 10 seconds left. I'll be fine. And I was just that caught my eye, I was like, man, if I need to learn this. And I literally, at Worlds, did the exact same thing. At Worlds, in my first 3 opponents, I got omoplatas on and hit the Clark Gracie choke on in all less than 2 minutes. A funny story, actually, is I have a good buddy of mine named Will Durkee, who's a Pan Am champion. He actually beat DJ Jackson at Pan Am's at Purple Belt. And we were in the warm-up area, and he's more of a wrestler, and I try to go for the submission more. So we make a bet, and we say who could tap our first guy fastest. So he goes out there, and he shoots a single, takes the guy's back, and chokes him out in 55 seconds. And I go out there for my first fight, and I almost choked the guy in 54 seconds. So I won that bet by all of 1 second. I swear to God, I couldn't make that up. I looked at the clock, and I was like, that is 54 seconds. So I walked back, and Will could not believe it. So that was fun from Worlds. But that's how we are, he competed in wrestling for a very long time, and I'm pretty comfortable competing in jiu-jitsu. So we were having a little bit of fun at Worlds, trying to make it a little interesting. But I definitely won that bet by all of a second. For the average person, I mean, just competing at Worlds would be enough. Getting a point maybe would be enough, or you win 3 in a row by submission. Then you, I believe, lose a close match. Is this a horrible experience for you? You didn't accomplish what you want, or is it still a good time? The Worlds. Just touch on that, maybe the Worlds and what you thought after it was all done. Did you fail, or is it just another tournament? Oh no, I'm like I said, I'm a confident guy, but I'm definitely my biggest critic. I put honestly the fight at Worlds, I was up by. I hope you have a lot of jiu-jitsu guys that listen and stuff, because I never heard of this, but I was up by 2 advantages with 15 seconds left in the fight. And there's actually video of this online that I watch and I still don't understand. But I was up with 2 advantages with 15 seconds left, and the guy I was fighting passed the guard, but I still had a spider hook in his bicep. and I had the spider hook in, and he goes to knee in the belly. And when he goes to knee in the belly, I still have my spider hook, and he's there for a few seconds, and I rock and I reset the position to back into the guard, and the ref puts up 3 points. So then my coaches are screaming, it's not 3, it's not 3, he had the spider hook. So then the ref does the wave and takes the 3 points away, and then gives 2 simultaneous advantages. Like 2 advantages for one position. I'd never seen that before in my life. I've been competing in jiu-jitsu since I started in IBJJF, like white belt all the way to brown belt, and I had never, ever seen the simultaneous, like 2 at once advantages. So then I saw that, and I was like, oh, my God, what the hell was that? But then I didn't want to argue too much because the fight was tied, and I knew it was a ref's decision, and I was like, well, I was winning the whole fight. I'd almost submitted him with an omoplata very early. I had it to where it was pretty close. And then the whole rest of the fight, it was pretty much just back and forth. But I had the real, like, significant move of the fight was me almost ending it real early with an omoplata. And then the ref, so I was like, okay, the ref couldn't give it to me. I was winning the whole fight. He was never up by points ever in a match. And then the ref gave it to him. So I was shocked. But like I was saying, the whole point of that was, like, I'm the toughest critic on me. So my first post was, I'm upset with myself in my conditioning and my preparation, because at the end I was getting tired and I kind of was just stalling when I should have had enough energy to, like, put it into another gear and sweep again or pass again or even omoplating again and finish the fight, you know. So I was really, really disappointed in myself and getting tired and gassing my grips out real early. But no, it definitely was not like, I'm not like a good time kind of guy. Like, oh, I learned a lot. No. I go out there for one thing and one thing only, and if I don't get it, I'm pretty upset. I let it fuel the fire back in the gym. Like I literally left California from Worlds, did an all-nighter back to Florida from like 8 o'clock to like 5 a.m. I slept for 2 hours and then trained in the morning and trained like for like 2 hours of rolls right after that. Like I was really upset with myself.
That's crazy. I heard the reffing was a little sketchy this year for a lot of people, so that's really unfortunate that happened to you. But that's kind of crazy that you went back and rolled the next morning.
Yeah, no, it was ridiculous. Like, honestly, as a sport, like, if you watch the Worlds and especially the black belt finals and stuff, like, they have 3 refs, and I swear every single decision that was made, like where it went to ref's decision, where all the refs had to put up who they thought won, there was not one unanimous decision. Like, 2 refs said one guy, 1 ref said the other guy. Like, are we that bad at judging who's winning at jiu-jitsu, you know? Like, we can't even be unanimous one time. Like, everyone's like, oh, no, it's clear this guy won. So you're really saying that in jiu-jitsu it's kind of up to interpretation, you know? Who's to say that the ref that, like, if you're a blue belt or a purple belt and you lose by ref's decision, like, who's to say that your ref was the one guy that thought the other guy won, but if there was 2 more refs, you would have won? You know, like, yeah. It's just real strange to me. Like, when I was seeing, like, 2 refs raise one hand, the other ref raise the other hand, I was like, man, every single guy that's not in the black belt or in the finals, all these guys are losing decisions in a sport that's really up to interpretation, you know? It's like, this guy thought there's, like, one guy in, like, 500 people that think one guy won for some crazy reason, but he's the ref, so he gets to decide. So I mean, I had at least 100 people come up to me and be like, man, what happened? Why did they give you a negative point for something? Like, how did you lose that fight? You were winning the entire time. And I was like, I don't know, man. Maybe that ref was the one guy out of 1,000 people that decided that I didn't do enough to win the fight, you know? But that's just how jiu-jitsu is. Unless you get to the finals and you get those 3 refs, you know? It was just really crazy.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. If you ever have the match, you should post it up on Facebook and you know, let everyone comment. Maybe
yeah, definitely. I want to see what everyone says, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Cause,
maybe it's a new rule. Maybe I didn't do as good as I thought.
Well, the only way to know is to throw it up there. Switching gears, let's talk about something that probably has made you more well-known in the sport as far as the community goes, and probably people coming up to you would be the competing of BJJ Kumite, which happened a little while ago, but still probably one of the most, I'd say, groundbreaking events that I've ever seen. How was this being part of it, just being part of it, and does that suit your style a lot more? Because I just talking with, of course, Jerowell, who's on our host here, and I said you were our favorite to watch, and of course Dara O'Connell, because man, the subs only really shows the people how they really are. If they're laid back or aggressive or killers or or they hide between the tail tucked between their legs or resistant. So what was your thoughts on this?
No, definitely. Like, the guy I actually lost to was Luca Ancaretta, who's the European champion, but he was in the Kumite. And in the Kumite, I tapped him in gi and no gi. But that style, that submission only definitely suits my style way better. Because, like, even look at the IBJJF fight. Like, I lost a rest decision, but there was a point where I thought that I had submitted him in the first 30 seconds, And I honestly believe, not that I believe, but it happened, Like, if it was submission only, I don't think I could have lost, because that's how my game is geared. If I'm on bottom, I'm trying to tap you. If I'm on top, I'm trying to tap you. I don't know. My first coach, Wagner Rocha, really implemented that into all of his students, Like, screw the points, screw the refs, like, just go in there and just tap people, Like I don't know. I've always had that game, and the Kumite was perfect for me, and I thought the rules and the way that everything was, like, I loved it, Like, yeah, I wasn't. It was a little rough having 6 no time limit matches a day right after each other. Like, that wasn't very fun, but just the way that it was, it made me so much more confident, because I'm one of the guys in the gym that's hard to tap and that gets a lot of taps, like I'm more kill or be killed, I'm not the guy that's going to stall you out. I'm not the guy that's going to take you down, score 2 points, and hang out. Like, I'm trying to submit you the entire time, which I guess everyone does that for the most part, but I'm a lot better at that. What's funny about that, too, is not a lot of people know that I was promoted 4 days before the Kumite to brown belt.
Holy shit. I thought you were brown for a while.
No. That's what I was telling people that when I got to Worlds, and everyone was shocked because I said it on camera, but I guess Lloyd didn't want to edit that in there. But I got promoted for the Kumite. Like, I got promoted to brown belt to fight in the Kumite. Like, we had a teammate of mine named Jared who was supposed to do the Kumite, and then he broke his nose in an MMA fight, so he couldn't do it. So then Pablo emailed Lloyd, and it was like 4 days before the Kumite, and he said, hey, my student Jared broke his nose. He's not going to be able to compete in the Kumite, but I have a guy who is at that level that I would love to throw in the Kumite, who's very exciting and very submission-oriented, and he would love to see how I did. And then Lloyd messaged back. He's like, oh, yeah, definitely, man, if you had someone to fill the spot and you back him that much, like you believe in him that much, definitely, man, what's his name, da-da-da-da. And then he's like, oh, it's AJ Sousa. And I think Lloyd Irvin knew who I was because in 2012, Keenan was the only guy I lost to in IBJJF. Like, every single IBJJF tournament that I did, Pan Ams and Worlds, Keenan was the guy that I was losing to. So he knew who I was, and we had fought like 3 times before that. And he was like, yeah, but isn't he still a purple belt? And Pablo was like, yeah, he's still a purple belt, but I'll promote him to brown belt if you'll let him in the Kumite. And then Lloyd said, yeah, let's do it. So I literally showed up at pro training with my gi, or in no gi, like training. And Pablo was like, hey, man, you're going to do the Kumite. And I laughed at him, and I was like, man, that would be awesome, dude. Like, that style is, like, so my style. I'd love to do that. And he goes, no, you're going to do it. And I was like, dude, shut up, man. Like, I'm trying to train here, and you're screwing my head. And he goes, no, you're doing the kumite. I talked to Lloyd. I was like, but I'm a purple belt. And he goes, well, that's the other thing. I'm going to give you your brown belt tonight. So come back tonight with your gi. I'm going to promote you to brown belt, and in 4 days you're going to the kumite.
Wow.
And that's how my kumite adventure started.
When you were in the kumite, who are some of the toughest people that you fought against?
Keenan. Keenan's good, man. But like you guys were saying, man, Dara's one of the coolest guys I met there, man, and he's really, really good, man. Like that fit his game very well too, because he's real sneaky with the guillotines and the north-south chokes and all that stuff, you know. So he was definitely tough. Gary Tonin is ridiculous, man. That guy does he's not human at all. That guy has cardio like a machine. Like we would get, because he wasn't staying in the house with us. He had his own place that he would stay, and he would get to the gym to Lloyd Irvin's gym before all of us, and we would hear like this bang, 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 like keep going, and we're like, what the hell is that noise? So we're like looking around, and we're like, man, like what is that noise? It's bang, 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 bang. And then we look outside, and we finally find him, and Gary Tonin is in a jacket, sprinting full speed on a treadmill for like 10 minutes straight before the kumite, like before he fought. Like his warm-up that he does before tournaments is like more intense than my workouts that I do before training. Like
that's crazy. Everyone's different. That sounds crazy.
No, he's nuts. But yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, I mean, how was the atmosphere when you were there? Everything on camera seems normal, and was it like that for your experience? I know you can't speak about, I mean, everything, nor do I. You know, I was just wondering how it was staying in a house full of guys, being at, you know, the Lloyd Irvin gym. Did anything seem kind of creep, or, you know, was it all copacetic and everything ran smooth?
No, there was some stress due to like how many people were there. There was a lot of guys in the house, but honestly, like I had a lot of guys that I already knew from jiu-jitsu already. Like I was already good friends with Keenan because we had fought a few times, and there's a lot of the guys that I already knew through jiu-jitsu there. So it was all pretty good and cool. It was a little frantic, like for food, and there was one TV, so it was a little crazy. And everyone else was smart enough to bring a laptop, and they at least had a phone that goes on the internet. And I had recently dropped my phone in some water, so I had to use my backup phone, which didn't have internet access, and I didn't bring a laptop. So a lot of the filming was me talking a lot of bullshit around the house. Well, that's because everybody else had entertainment, and I literally did not have anything else to do but to walk around and just talk to people. So I would walk up to Dara and be like, "Hey, Dara," and he's on his computer talking to his buddies back in Ireland, and he doesn't want me around, but I'm like, "Screw you! I need to talk to somebody because I'm bored out of my mind."
Yeah.
But honestly, as a whole, there's a lot of cool guys there, and obviously what happened after that was insane and all that. But I definitely, it wasn't like a cult and stuff like that. But it was just a lot of guys that were dedicated to jiu-jitsu, and these two guys decided to do what they did, and it happens. Like I would never condone anything like that, you know, like that's ridiculous. But before, when everyone was there, like everyone was cool with each other. We all had a common thing. We all loved jiu-jitsu, and we all hung out pretty well.
Okay. Well.
How often do you go on YouTube and search new techniques and stuff
every
like
day?
That? And when you do, who do you search mostly, person-wise?
Yeah, like you were saying, every day I try to do that. Like I currently work at Pablo Popovich's gym, so I teach the morning classes, and then I have some downtime before the pro trainings and stuff. So I try to YouTube every day, like try to see what the meows are up to. And, I like watching Clark Gracie, obviously, because that guy's like my idol right now. But I like to watch Clark Gracie, the meows. There's a lot of stuff that the meows do, man. That like, cause you know, like Keenan's got a bunch of instructionals and all this stuff, and Keenan's kind of bigger, and his moves are kind of slower, so you can kind of see what's kind of going on. He plays that lapel guard that's kind of weird. But the meows, like, they're so little and they're so fast that you like. If you watch them and you break down some intricacies of their berimbolo, like they're using a berimbolo position that I don't think is like mainstream as everybody knows. Like everyone knows the berimbolo. You grab the bell, you roll through, you take the back, you take the leg drag. But they're actually using like a new position that I actually saw and I tried to break down. And I'm sure some people know it and some people caught on to it. But I've been looking at that.
Are you claiming that the Meow Brothers? Are you claiming that the Meow Brothers are perhaps berimbolo hipsters?
Yes, exactly. They are berimbolo hipsters. They're rebels against the berimbolo mainstream.
do you enjoy that? Do you enjoy that game, by the way, the berimbolo?
I hate double guard pulls, if that's what you're saying. The berimbolo's cool and everything. Just my only problem with it is it doesn't lead directly into submission. So I would much rather try to omoplata somebody. I actually have an omoplata from the double guard pull, which is really cool. So, but that's a secret. Don't tell anybody.
Speaking of secret stuff, you know, it seems which is nice to me, that you don't have to be a black belt to put out instructionals. There also is, of course, you could have a YouTube channel. Will we see stuff from you, or do you have something out that perhaps maybe slipped by my YouTube views and recon that I've done on you?
Not really. I have video of me winning the Pan Ams, Nogi Pan Ams at Purple Belt and stuff up online, but I don't know. I don't have a lot of video. It's honestly, I'm not hiding anything. It's just my friends suck, and no one likes to film when I fight. I literally had a buddy that I was like, dude, will you film my matches at Worlds? And he's like, yeah. So I tapped 3 guys out with omoplatas, and I have 0 video. And thank God Luca's guys filmed our fight, so he's the one that posted that up. My friends suck. That's what happens. That's why I don't have any YouTube videos. But I can't film myself. I cannot film myself do jiu-jitsu.
That's right. Would you actually be interested in having perhaps you showing moves out there, not just matches, but would you be interested in people seeing your thoughts on, you know, how you do an armbar from guard? It could be a little different, of course, other than other people. Like, is there stuff that you would want to share with the world that you think they would actually dig, and you just have shitty friends, so you haven't done it?
I have a lot of stuff, man. Like, the cool thing about our gym here is Pablo's like a real good man. The guy, like, in Nogi is like an encyclopedia, you know, like he knows everything. And I'm more experimental in the gi, so the students here, they get like the real traditional like jiu-jitsu like gi from Pablo, and he shows like a lot of the cool like guards and stuff. And then I'm like the kind of like the innovative guy, you know, like because I still, like, to this day, if there's a sweep that comes out tomorrow, I want to be the guy that knows it, you know. So I'm always like practicing like the meow berimbolo, the low guard, the low sweep, the Clark Gracie omoplata, the leg weaves, and all that stuff. You know, I'm trying to stay up to date on all that. So I have my little innovations that I have. My whoopsie daisy armbar that I hit a lot in the kumite, like that same side grip lift straight into the omoplata while I'm passing was real popular. A lot of guys were asking me about that. But honestly, why I haven't put up anything on YouTube is I just didn't think that there was a market for it. I didn't want to post something on Facebook and YouTube and be like, AJ Sousa's way of doing this, and then it's get like 5 views, because that would really hurt my ego. So
you know what, though? It might get 5 views. It also might get 20 comments on how crappy your technique is when these guys probably did jiu-jitsu for 1 week. So that's always rewarding also.
No, you gotta go on YouTube and read the comments about the Kumite, man. Like these ninja keyboard warriors are real mean online, and like these
it's
guys.
So funny though.
These guys that like give Keenan and the Meows a bunch of shit about double guard pull. Do they not understand that these guys could come into their gym and tap their instructors? Like, how are you in a gym in like the middle of Tennessee or something, and your instructor's like a purple belt, and then you're gonna be talking shit online about the like 2 best brown belts in the world? Like, if they want a double guard pull, damn it, they get double guard pull. Like, I'm sorry, like, and I'm ranting right now, but I've had this like stigma, like everyone's posting videos online, like, oh, the double guard pull is shit, it's so boring to watch. I'm sorry, dude, but IBJJF, you have to pay to compete in. They don't pay you. We don't do it for the fans. You know, like, we're not professional, like, jiu-jitsu stars, you know, like, we're not getting paid for that. You know, so, like, if you start paying a guy, if you say, hey, Keenan and hey me out, we're going to give you $10,000 to fight, then you can start holding them accountable, you know, because I pay you, I want to make it exciting, I'm the one doing all this. But, man, Keenan and Meow both have to pay $100 and something to enter the tournament. They're allowed to fight however the hell they want. You know, like, what is up with all these ninja keyboard guys saying, oh, it's so boring? Well, guess what, buddy? They don't fight to entertain you. They fight to win. They fight to get medals. They fight to establish their jiu-jitsu in the world, you know? It's like, if you want to pay them $10,000 to watch them fight, then you can say what they can or can't do. Like at Abu Dhabi, when they double DQ'd them, like, that's understandable, you know, because the Sheik flew them out there, paid for their meals, paid for everything, paid for their hotel. Then you have the right to say, no, the double guard pull is not entertaining enough, so get off my mat. You know, like, what are you going to do? The guy paid for it. But I'm not going to say that the guys have to fight a certain way when they have to pay their own money to fly out there, pay for the tournament, get a hotel. That's ridiculous to try to hold the guys accountable for how they fight because you want to watch an exciting fight. Too bad. You know, like, they're just trying to win. They don't fight because of Jim Johnson that lives in Oklahoma watching the Worlds on his computer who's training for a week. But then he's the first one to go right online that the double guard pull is the worst and that Keenan and the Meows suck. You know, like, I don't know where these guys get off, you know, and YouTube's the worst because there's no picture, there's no info. This guy could literally make an account that says Jiu-Jitsu Warrior 157 and go on a Hodger Gracie video of him choking someone from the mount and literally write, oh man, if Hodger ever did that to me, I would get out. You know, that guy sucks for getting mount choked. I never get mount choked. You know, there's no accountability at all.
I hear you. But you know what? At least they're talking about you.
Man, it was so hard though, man, because like I am not in any way, shape, or form like one of these jiu-jitsu superstars. You know, like one of these guys that is so used to having to deal with like 10,000 views and having to deal with people like writing shit about you. And like I saw some of the comments that people were putting on YouTube, and I was like, man, that hurts, man. That's mean. Why you gotta be so mean? You know, like I'm not used to like the
I hear you. Myself and a co-host here, Jer, we post some videos, and you know we get some views, and then there's that one bonehead that will like be like, "Oh, nice shirt you wear," you know, like they just pick the nitpick. It's all good though. I think at least I guarantee you there will be people that would tune in. So we would like to see some footage of you for sure, man.
Oh, I might just do that. I might see where it goes. But the first mean comment I get, I'm deleting it.
Well, I'll post my picture, and I'll show you where you could reply to, and then I'll post the mean comment. No. No, I'm just kidding. But I was just wondering, you know, maybe something you could share with us, you know, advice that you got maybe when you were at a low point, or maybe someone came to you for advice and wanted to quit, something you told them, something to do with, you know, everyone gets in that kind of rut in jiu-jitsu. I was just wondering what your advice would be. Man up.
Yeah? You know what, man, like, I see I don't know. It's hard because you guys, like, this is the first time that we've talked and stuff, but if you hang around me and you kind of see the way I think and I act a little differently than most people, you know, I'm not really about, like, the lovey-dovey, like, camaraderie, like, oh, I love you, we're such brothers in jiu-jitsu and all that stuff, you know, like, I don't know, I like work ethic, I like working hard, training hard, you do all that, you know, like, you're good to go. You know, like Keenan does it perfectly, man. Like, Keenan doesn't talk shit about nobody. Keenan doesn't do anything wrong. You know, the guy just trains freaking amazingly hard. And you don't think Keenan has bad days? You don't think Keenan, like, had or felt real bad after the Copa Podio? You know, like, he holds himself to that standard. You know, and honestly, he's a role model of mine. You know, just because of what he does. Like, if you're feeling like, oh, you had a bad day or you have a bad training, man, like, dude, man up, shake it off, take a deep breath, and come back and train twice as hard tomorrow. You know, like, I'm not one to coddle anybody. You know, like, I'm pretty cutthroat.
Nice. It works for you, so that's all that matters. We got one more question here, and then unfortunately we're gonna have to wrap it up.
No, definitely.
Can you take us through the hardest time in your career, and how did you deal with these, you know, the negativity? Like, what did you do?
I don't know. The hardest part of the career probably was, I don't know. I pretty much just trained really hard. I didn't like losing at Worlds this year, you know, because I felt like I got popular off of the Kumite, and a lot of guys are coming up to me beforehand and during and after, like, oh man, can't wait to watch you fight. And I feel like I let a lot of people down, you know, like not doing as well as I did. And honestly, I felt really bad. I got real sad and all that stuff. But man, like I said, I flew overnight, came to the gym the next morning and trained for 2 hours, you know, like, I literally walked into the gym, and the first thing I said to myself was, like, if you don't at least almost puke today, then you didn't train hard enough. So I just kept training until I was feeling like a burning in my stomach, and I kept training for some more, you know? Like, I don't like failure, and I don't like, even more, like, letting people down that are close to me, and I feel like I let a lot of people down that were like, oh, man, like, I got through 3 fights, and people were like, dude, did you see AJ hitting all those omoplatas, you know? And I felt like, man, like, this is my time. I'm going to go out there, and I'm gonna show everybody what I could do. And then I lost that decision, and it kind of really bummed me out. But I'm back to training hard. I'm getting ready for the New York Summer Open. That's July 13th. I'm going to be competing in that. And I want to go out there and probably just show some people, like, what I could really do, you know? And I'm training harder now. I got my cardio up. So I should be good to put on a show at the Summer Open.
All right, man. Well, good luck at the New York Summer Open. Wish you best of luck. And thank you very much for being a guest. I hope you enjoyed your time. I know we did talking to you. So.
No, definitely, man. Thank you guys for having me on.
No problem, man. Get those videos up so, you know, we could see some new techniques.
All right, man, definitely.
All right, thank you. Enjoy your night.
All right, you too.
Bye. Mr. Gerald LP, my man.
Hello.
It's been a while since we've done a full episode together. It's been a while since we've had 2 guests. Man, it felt like it feels like we just you know, finished a playoff game. You know.
Yeah, it's I haven't seen that much of you recently.
It's all good. We'll make up for it. You know, you're like you know, it's like you got visitation every 2 weeks or something, Daddy.
Yeah, Daddy. Don't worry, I'm coming back.
Yeah, no problem, man. Anyways, let's just wrap this up as usual. I like it when you have the last word. I know you have a trademark. You should trademark that before someone takes it. So for the listeners that were live and the ones listening after on iTunes or Stitcher, BlogTalkRadio, on our YouTube channels, your Androids, whatever. Thanks for listening, and enjoy your night. And we'll be back next week with another big episode, which we'll announce during middle of the week, I say. On our Facebook, BJJ Addict Radio, BJJ Addict. That's it, man. I just gotta say goodnight and let you end it, my friend.
All right, dudes. Hang tight.
Hang tight. See ya.